now June, so today I'm bringing you my monthly recommendations video for June. Monthly Recommendations is a Goodreads group that was created by Trina from Between Chapters and Kayla from Kayla Rain, so there will be a link to the Goodreads group in the description. This month's theme is retellings, and I'm going to admit I haven't read many retellings, but I wanted to do the video because I also wanted to talk about some of the books that I have, that I know are retellings that I haven't got to yet, so in kind of like, it's recommendations and retellings TBR from me. So let's go on with the ones that are retellings, and yeah. The first one I'm going to talk about is a very, very loose retelling, but I remember reading it somewhere that the Throne of Glass series is actually based on Cinderella. Like, obviously she is the young, kind of, poor child who gets thrown into this world of the prince and the kings and stuff, and turns out it's apparently based on Cinderella. Honestly, I wasn't sure on it, but Sarah J. Maas said it, so I'm going to include it. If you haven't heard about it, it's about a girl who gets freed from a prison to take part in a contest to become the king's assassin. So, this is apparently based on Cinderella. Next up, we have the three really obvious ones that are retellings of myths. So we have the Percy Jackson series, which is obviously a retelling of Greek myths. It tells the story of a boy who discovers he is the son of a Greek god. It happens, it's a really fun series, includes a lot of myths. I actually learnt a lot reading this series, and it opened my eyes to the broader mythology. And there's this series, and there's Heroes of Olympus, then the Trials of Apollo, and it just draws on the mythology so well, so have to mention it. The next one I'm going to mention is The Game Chronicles by Riordan, because he retells myths a lot, but this is a retelling of Egyptian mythology, which I thought was really unusual, because I didn't know anything about Egyptian myths going into this. It follows the story of Carter and Sadie Kane, who are out with their dad, and their dad kind of like disappears, and they release the god of evil. And it's an incredible series, it's a trilogy, really fun, so yeah. Then lastly, of course, we have the Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard series, and this is the first book, The Sword of Summer. It tells the story of Magnus Chase, who is the son of a Norse god. And this is another one where I didn't know a huge amount of the mythology outside of like the Thor films, so it was really interesting to explore it. It's very different. It's also a trilogy. The last book comes out this year, so if you want to get on this series, now is the best time to, because you can be ready for when the last one comes out. So those are the three retellings by Riordan that are very obvious. And the last one I want to talk about, which is a bit weird, and I'm not sure you'd class it as a retelling, but it draws very heavily on an actual historical event. And not many people probably know this, but the Game of Thrones series, Song of Ice and Fire, is actually based on the War of the Roses, which is a event that happened between the Tudors, the Yorks and the Lancasters? The Tudors and the Lancasters, like hundreds of years ago in Britain. And the story actually, it draws very heavily on it. The Lannisters and the Starks actually, I think, are representative of those houses. Obviously it's much broader than that, but the whole thing draws on British, like, history. So I thought I'd mention this as a fun fact. If you didn't know, the Song of Ice and Fire series is actually based on a real-life event. Kind of. Very, very, very corrupted, obviously, but yeah, that you get the idea. I just wanted to mention it because I thought it was fun. Now, we're going to move on to the ones that I haven't actually read yet. And this is ones that I know a lot of people have read, and a lot of people seem to enjoy it. I just haven't read most of them, so I'm going to mention them. We have A Court of Thorns and Roses by Miss Sarah J. Maas, and obviously this is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. If you hadn't heard by now, it's about a girl who is hunting and she kills a fairy, and as punishment she gets sent to live with another fairy. And I have had this book for quite a while now. I will get round to it. I do enjoy Sarah J. Maas's writing. Yes, it does have its problems, but I do enjoy it. So I have a retelling to read. Now I have a very recent purchase that is also a retelling, and that is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This is a story telling the story of the Queen of Hearts, and it says here, before she was the Queen of Hearts, she was just a girl who wanted to fall in love. And I don't actually know much about this. I just heard really good things, and I know it's an Alice in Wonderland kind of prequel story retelling thing, so I'm going to include it in this video. In the same vein, we have Cinder and the entire Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I own every single book in this series. I have read absolutely none of it. This follows a cyborg Cinderella, I know that much, and this is Cinder, it's based on Cinderella, then there is Scarlet, based on Red Riding Hood, Cress, Rapunzel, and then Winter, which is Snow White. So there's 4 retellings there that I need to get to, so yeah. Then we have Starcrossed by Josephine Angelini. This is a retelling of the Helen of Troy story, so I have not heard much about it. I just remember seeing it on lots of people's shelves when I first started BookTube. So I have Starcrossed and I have the second book, Dreamless. And the main reason I want to read it is because it draws on the Greek mythology, or, well, Greek history, mythology, of the Battle of Troy and Helen of Troy and Paris and all of that. So I have this to read. And the last one is Wicked by Gregory Maguire. This is obviously a kind of retelling on the Wicked Witches story from The Wizard of Oz. Very well known, it follows Elphaba, and we see her growing up, and it overlaps with The Wizard of Oz, so yeah, this is one I need to read as well. It's kind of a retelling, kind of a prequel. I'm kind of freewheeling this topic a bit, very sorry. So that's the last one I have for you. I don't have many, like I said, but those are the books I do have that are retellings, and some fun little facts about some of them, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I will have another one up soon. Goodbye.